How and how do you block an Apple ID sign-in on macOS?
Ah, good
Shadow
gosh.
IT.
Well, I mean, and that really gets down to the place where you don't have control over whether or not they sign in with an Apple ID. You have control of what that Apple ID can do once it is signed in. You can turn off services like, the FaceTime and iMessage. You can turn off, services like cloud photos and cloud sharing and, other things along those lines. Those are all things that you can do. You can restrict their ability to store their desktop and their documents folder in the cloud, which I think is a wise choice for, everyone there. So, I think that as we, you look at the future here, I think that Apple really wants you to sign in with an Apple ID because it enables a lot of things. You can encourage folks to use managed Apple IDs, which have very limited abilities, but still, offer things like freeform and the ability to do some of the, the new cloud services that are available there. But managed Apple IDs are their own boat, right, Joel? There, you get a little bit of a different experience with a managed Apple ID.
Absolutely, and we've played around with a little bit of this, because we're kind of, obviously, and one of the reasons why we do these sessions is we're interested in knowing what people want to use and kind of what directions they're going with their organizations and the IT choices that they're making. And managed Apple IDs have some pretty cool functionality to them, where we've been, kind of a little bit down on them recently. Passkeys really cool. Some really cool stuff that's going on there. I use passkeys now with my JumpCloud authentication. Makes it stupid easy, especially when I'm signing in with my on a PC, because I've been doing some Windows MDM work. And so being able to just shoot a QR code with my phone, I never thought I'd be excited about QR codes.
Right?
But it really works well in this case, where I can shoot that QR code with my phone, sign into JumpCloud on the PC, which I'm tearing up and down all the time. So I don't want to really get like a lived-in profile and be able to sign in. But none of those work with a managed Apple ID.
Right.
Because you don't get the iCloud keychain. And if you don't have an iCloud keychain, you can't use passkeys, at least through Apple facilities. You can still use them with Chrome and things like that through your Google accounts. And I guess the big piece there is, as Tom mentioned, you can kind of block a lot of stuff. An Apple ID won't sign you into the device, right? So you're still having to sign into an account through JumpCloud or whatever local account if you're not using us for that. So yeah, it obviously you want to lock that down, but at least they're getting into their system with an account that you're understanding of or aware of how to deal with in most cases. And then, managed Apple IDs, I think, Tom, you and I started talking about them mostly because of the volume purchase aspects, which is a little more maybe relevant to iOS.
Sure.
It exists on the Mac. I don't know how many people are pushing VPP software for Mac things. I know for a while.
I would say a fair number, but we end up using device licensing as opposed to Apple licensing or Apple ID licensing
Sure.
in those cases.
Well, and a lot of the stuff on the Mac, I think, is more of the free apps, right?
Yes.
I've been using Xcode from the App Store for a while, right? Because then it just automatically updates. And in most cases, that's it updates when you want it and how you would want it, and then you don't have to worry about manually going out and downloading big 12 gig binaries. But yeah, I don't know. I don't have a lot of paid software through the App Store on my Mac. Certainly, I have more of that on the iOS side.
For sure. So yeah,
Cool.
Coming back to the original question, you really can't block their ability to sign in with an Apple ID. And I think that Apple is very clear about this. They want people to use Apple IDs. Now, as IT, you have the ability to essentially encourage people and by policy require. And I'm talking here about HR policy, not like paper
APs.
policy, as opposed to an authenticated process. Obviously, if you want to basically say, hey, look, this is an MDM managed machine that was enrolled with Apple Business Manager and automated device enrollment, it should only be signed into with a managed Apple ID. That would be an enhancement that I would strongly encourage folks to file feedback requests for, so that you can essentially say, hey, look, managed Apple IDs only. And that's not something that's part of the MDM specification today, but maybe should be.
So they have to pay attention to AUPs. Employers have to write proper, complete AUPs in order to take care of this
Mm-hmm.
problem. We can't, it's not a problem, but it's a concern.
That's right.
Cool.
Please subscribe and check out more content from us.